Is Neil actually Kat's son from the future? What coded messages are hidden in Sator's name, and how are they revealed in the title? And finally, does the ending imply that there will be a second part? Hi, I'm Dylan, and today we'll be unraveling the mysterious world of Tenet, the ancient mystery of Sator. Not only has Nolan tricked us with his confusing time inversions, but he put coded messages into time codes, as well as the names of organizations, characters, objects, and, of course, in the title itself. It's almost impossible to detect all the hidden details of this movie in a single viewing. Perhaps that's another trick that Nolan has played on us, making fans rewatch Tenet in order to finally fill in all the gaps. One of the most exciting codes you probably won't get at first glance lies in the name of the Russian tyrant, Andrei Sator. The name refers to the magic square of Sator. Never heard of that? Then here's a history lesson for you. The most mysterious square in the world was found among the ruins of Pompeii. It's a puzzle in itself, because it's a palindrome, which means that it can be read from literally any direction. It's so awesome that even if you rotate it 180 degrees, you can still read it. And as you probably noticed, it displays the word tenet. Originally, the term tenet meant a principle of belief, so it's no coincidence that this word is placed in the center of the square. But what's even more surprising is how Nolan incorporates other words seen in the square into the movie. Arepo, for instance, is the character connected to Kat's storyline with Goya painting. And we all remember the Opera National House at the start of the film. Or what about Rotas, the name of the security company at Freeport in Oslo? Awesome, isn't it? And while we're on the subject, the word tenet also alludes to the final battle scene, when the team going 10 minutes forward meets the team going 10 minutes backward. So basically, we get Tenet. With this one solved, let's figure out what secret was hidden in Robert Pattinson's character arc. Is Neil connected to Kat? Pattinson's character was a total mystery until the very end of the movie, when we finally find out that he was actually hired for this mission by the protagonist himself, which explains why Neil knew what drink the protagonist preferred in their first scene together. Despite the fact that Tenet is cluttered with secrets and puzzles, fans developed an additional theory about Neil, which makes his character even more mysterious. The most popular question that is Googled about Neil is, could he be Kat's grown-up son from the future? Let's examine all the facts and decide whether this theory is any good. The first problem is that we already know the name of Kat's son. It's Max. If Nolan really wanted to leave Neil's future identity ambiguous, why wouldn't he just omit the name as he did with the protagonist? On the other hand, there was this gentle moment between Neil and Kat on the boat, when she is recovering from her injury with Neil at her bedside. Although, in order for this theory to be possible, Neil would have had to travel back through time for at least a decade to get back to the point when he was a child. And this feels pretty impossible to accomplish according to the rules of the reversed world. When the question of Neil's origins was addressed to Nolan, the director didn't want to unravel this particular puzzle for the fans, saying the following about Rob's character. We think he may be called Neil. You never really quite know what's going on with these identities. While you're trying to digest this crazy whirlpool of information, let me assure you that you're not alone. Even the cast was confused by the story and their characters. We're sure you've noticed that the characters have very minimal storylines, and if you hadn't, no one will blame you. And that creates a major challenge for the actors, especially in a movie with such a complex premise. What do we really know about the main characters' lives, goals, or emotional attachments outside of their tactical missions? While we do get a chance to dive into the lives of Elizabeth Debicki and Kenneth Branagh's characters, what about our main heroes? Washington and Pattinson's characters lack any sense of personality, actually, and it's mainly thanks to their incredible talent and charisma that we can sympathize with these characters. Plus, the filming process itself was a hell of a challenge for the cast.
It was really hard.
Pattinson actually revealed that it was sometimes literally impossible to shoot some of the scenes. For instance, during the scenes in which he had to wear that special mask that covered his entire face, Rob couldn't see a thing through it, and to make things worse, it was literally 100 degrees under the mask.
I mean, literally, when you're completely blind at like 100 degrees, there's so much sweat in your eyes, and you can't see out of the windscreen, and stuff, everything's blowing up around you.
Eventually, he called the experience the most terrifying in his life. But back to the secrets hidden in the movie. It turns out that Tenet is connected to Nolan's previous films to a greater degree than we could have imagined. Hints to The Dark Knight and Inception. We can all agree that speculation has been rampant about whether or not Tenet is a sequel to Inception. But John David Washington revealed to Esquire that, "I'd say Tenet is an in-law to Inception. They're related by marriage. Still, even if these movies are in different universes, they remain deeply connected." Nolan shared that Tenet does for the spy genre what Inception did for the heist genre. Both movies feature characters who must pass through time to complete a mission, and all those circling ideas of trickery and illusion are something Tenet and Inception definitely have in common. But most importantly, Tenet's opening line could itself be a reference to Inception. As the line goes, "Wake up, the Americans." And if you aren't familiar with Inception, the movie is all about confusing the line between dreams and reality. There are also other callbacks to Nolan's previous work. When you see Sator at his worst, while attacking his wife, he tells her, "Look at me." This could be an allusion to the Dark Knight scene, in which the Joker says the same thing to a hostage, which is caught on video and broadcast on the news. And finally, the structure of Tenet brings the filmmaker's early movie, The Prestige, to mind. The Prestige also plays around with the fact that two versions of the same character are walking around in the same timeline. These hints lead us to our final question. Will Nolan's next picture be an independent feature connected to the previous projects, only with new ideas and perhaps some Easter eggs? Or will there be a second installment of Tenet? Most fans know that Nolan has not been tempted by sequels, aside from his Batman trilogy. Nevertheless, Tenet leaves fans with a lot of unanswered questions. For example, it would be really exciting to see how Neil got to know the protagonist in the first place, and the second part would probably give answers to Neil's origin theories. Plus, there is definitely more behind the protagonist's initial plans for humanity. And finally, who wouldn't want another movie featuring John David Washington and Robert Pattinson ruling another breathtaking spy mission? But we have to face the facts. Despite the huge unanswered question at the end of Inception, Nolan didn't think of coming up with a second part, did he? Either way, Nolan will definitely be keeping his ideas about the next movie a secret until the premiere. What do you think about a second installment of Tenet? Does it stand a chance? And which hidden details did you spot? Share them with us in the comments. And as always, thanks for staying awesome.